Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about China and the United States, Taiwan, information consumption, media consumption, guarding against things, and how people end up with a perception that may not be entirely accurate. Okay, so we have this question. A couple of international affairs people I follow all seem to be saying that China can't really invade Taiwan. And this was before the news about their corruption issues. I think you're in that group that thinks they can't. But most news seems to say they can. What do those who hold your opinion know that everybody else doesn't? Are you guarding against groupthink? Okay, so we have talked about it before. When you're talking about bad intelligence assessments, a lot of times it is from people talking to each other and then making their assessments match each other unintentionally because somebody is very persuasive in their own assessments. Everybody moves theirs closer to match that one. The person who is most persuasive may not be right. That's not actually what's going on here. There's a different thing happening here. When you're talking about looking at data, you have the concept of cherry picking data, right? Looking for the information that is most supportive of what you want it to show. There's also a thing called nut picking, where you purposely go find the outliers for whatever reason. If you were to watch most major news outlets, you would definitely believe that most experts believe that China can absolutely invade Taiwan and win. Because that's who they go talk to. Because that's far more interesting than the reality, which is that the overwhelming majority of experts don't even think they can pull off the invasion, much less the actual hard part, the occupation afterward. And it's not even close, to be clear. In fact, the Center for Strategic and International Studies did a survey recently of some of their affiliated experts. 87 of them, 52 were from the U.S., 35 were from Taiwan. Out of those surveyed, 75%, roughly three quarters, didn't even think China could pull off the amphibious invasion part. And those who were very confident that they could, it was like 1 or 2%. It was not a large group within that survey. I personally, whether or not they can do it, I don't know. There's a lot of fog of war stuff that would impact that, whether or not they could get through the invasion part. But what I do know is that even if they were able to, it would come at such a high cost that they wouldn't want to. And I believe that China knows that, which means they're not likely to pursue that option. And it went through and looked at other things as well, like whether or not people could... whether or not China could quarantine the island using law enforcement or maybe do a blockade using the military. And this is a good way to see whether or not there was bias at play. You know, Chinese military, they're not any good. No, pretty much everybody thinks they could do a blockade. So it's not a bias thing. It's not underestimating their military. It's just that amphibious invasions are super hard. And what occurs is that media outlets, they want the drama. They want the high drama. They're not going to bring in an expert that's going to be like, nah, I don't think they're going to do that. I mean, that seems really illogical on that part. And, they're people. They're not crazy. That's not good TV. Good TV is, that foreign government over there, they're bad. Those people, they don't think about things logically. Of course they're going to invade. It's not a matter of the assessments themselves. It's a matter of which ones get elevated in the media. Most people, the overwhelming majority of people who really understand this stuff, they don't think China's invading, not anytime soon. They elevate those who say they do believe that because it's good for clicks. It's really that simple. I'll try to find that survey and put it down below so you can look at it. There are a number of situations where stuff like this comes into play, where the perception of how things would play out is definitely wrong in the view of the American public because they were misinformed, because outlets intentionally sought out people who held a contrarian opinion. And it wasn't to guard against groupthink. It's just that the traditional assessment is boring and doesn't get ratings. So maybe news for profit in that fashion, where it's driven by ratings, isn't good. Maybe it leads to people being misinformed. Again, when you're trying to get good information, don't look for things that are sensationalist, because by definition, it won't be good. It won't be accurate, because they're trying to make it more interesting. They're trying to make it, groundbreaking, earth-shattering. Don't look for that. Just look for the information. And you will find out that when it comes to Taiwan and China, the idea of an invasion, it's pretty universal thinking that that's not really on the table anytime soon. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.